Now that you have your business in place, everything works more or less well, you finally decided to put some attention on your business online presence. Throughout the years, while building your business, you created a couple of digital assets. For example, you have some kind of website, you have some kind of presence on social media, but you feel that this is not well connected, it's not well structured. You feel that this can be much better. At the end of the day, you saw what your competitors are doing. Now you want to have what they have and even better, right? So if that's you, this is a perfect video to watch, because today I'm going to share with you exactly which steps you need to take and in which order if you are building or rebuilding your online presence. And by the way, if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you follow me already, welcome back. Always nice to have you here. All we talk about on my channel is how to get set up to sell online. I want to help you as an established business owner to understand the digital world so that you know what kind of digital assets you need and what kind of digital actions you need to take in order to grow your business online. I also try to stay away from details. I want to give you a big picture, the perspective, so that you can make informed decisions. So let's dive in. When you're building or rebuilding your digital presence, there are the 3 steps you want to follow. So number 1, you want to put your brand in place. Number 2, you want to focus on digital infrastructure. And number 3, now you're ready to get some traffic. Let's talk about number 1, the branding, and I will circle back to each one of these topics. But the first one, as I said, is branding. Why is this most important from my point of view when you are starting this process? Imagine you build your website, your social media channels, whatever, your email signature, whatever you do after this step is going to be determined by your brand. So when we talk about brand, we can go to the moon and back. There are companies that, I don't know, like they're selling some stories, they want to build your brand, they want to talk about voice of your brand and whatnot. It makes sense on some levels, but to simplify it, you want to focus on 3 simple things. And number 1 is logo, number 2 is colors you want to use, and number 3, fonts. And I really suggest you don't get crazy with this. Don't spend too much time, but don't just jump over this step. You want to find the right amount of attention that you put in this step. You want to be satisfied with the brand, with the logo, with the colors that are chosen for your business. So in the most simple terms, I suggest you to have a couple of examples and simply follow your gut. See what's missing. You want to maybe communicate with the designer about some small adjustments, and also be very clear when you are communicating to the designer what exactly you want them to create. Sometimes if you saw a couple of great logos that you want to, I don't want to say copy or mimic, but just use them as an example. You can say, I like this logo, follow that pattern and create the logo for me. That's also fine, and that can simplify the process very much, because at the end of the day you have to be happy with what you get, and it has to represent what you already built from your company, and it has to represent who you are and what your business is about. I will also point this out. There are occasions that when you start rebuilding your online presence, you can go to this step number 1. You can talk about designers, about your logo, and you can find out that your logo is actually very good, that there is nothing to be changed. Not logo, not colors, no fonts. But it is very important that you go through this step. Just check it out, and if you say everything is in place now we can move to the next step. And the next step is your digital infrastructure. So, number 1, we want to have website or funnel. If you're not familiar with this term funnel, let's just keep it as simple as it is. Website is where people can come and just browse around, go from one page to another, read about your company, read blog posts, they can check your contact details, references, testimonials, whatever you have there, whatever you put in front of them. Maybe you want to present your company, present your products or services. That's where they come and they decide where to go, and they can go wherever they want. Comparing to funnel is very precise. You have a landing page and you cannot go to any other page unless you take an exact action that I want you to take, whether it's an opt-in or maybe book a call or maybe buy whatever I want you to buy on that page, but you will not go any further if you don't take that specific action. So that's in simple terms to explain what's the difference between website and funnel. But in both cases, they just have some web address that somebody can click and visit. Number 2 is the CRM. So I already talked about CRM before. I think this is a very important thing. And I still see a lot of businesses having their customer relationship management driven through some Google Sheet, Excel sheet, and something like that. Maybe on a paper, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I see CRM as a connector between all these other digital assets. That's the place where you keep the data about your clients, potential clients. That's the place where you have some certain automations. If I send this email to this kind of person and they click this link, I want this to happen. That's the most simple way to explain automation. If this, then that. Okay, so let's say we have this CRM in place, and by the way, this is nothing more than an online software that is very common today, and comparing to maybe 20 years ago when this has to be installed on your PC. Today you have everything in cloud. You just need to make an account on a certain CRM, and then you have access there. You can import all your contacts that you right now have on your Google Sheet, for example, and from there you want to continue building your customer relationship management inside a CRM. Okay, so very simple. Let's say that we have a website and somebody is filling in the form on my website. They give their name, email address, phone number, send some message, whatever, or maybe we have a survey. I want this information to end up in the CRM, and from there I maybe want to have some automation happening because they fill in the form. I want to send them an email confirmation. I want to send an email to these persons in the company, and that's what the CRM is about. Next thing, you can integrate the payment processors in the CRM. So for example, if somebody takes certain action, I want to send them a link for the payment, and I want this payment to be registered in my CRM, and when they pay, I want this action to happen. That's where the automation comes again. But we will make some video about CRM specifically. I just want to give you an idea that this is a connector between various online assets that you have. Next one, social media accounts. Let's say that we have social media like Facebook and Instagram, for example. I want, if somebody is sending me a message on my Facebook page of my business or my Instagram account of my business, I want this message to also end up in my CRM. That's what I can achieve, and from there I can reply from the CRM, so this conversation will stay there. And if some sales rep end up on the holiday and somebody else is in the company, this person is asking any question through the email or wherever, I know what was the conversation before, and I can continue from there. I can say, hey, John is on vacation, I can help you with this, I know what's going on and what exactly you need. You certainly had this experience before, like when you call some call center and you explain what you need and what's the problem, and they let you talk for like 2 minutes, and then they say, I have to transfer you to another department, wait a second, and then boom, you have to explain everything again. So that's a very bad customer experience, and you want to avoid it, and you can avoid it with the CRM. So that's one of the tools that you want to use. Next one, advertising accounts. So if you're running ads on various advertising accounts, whether it's a social media, Google AdWords, or whatever you decide, all the contacts coming, all the leads coming from advertising, you also want them to end up in the CRM, because also of the next thing, which is analytics. Also, I want to know who pressed on which ad and which ad is actually creating the most leads for the least ad spend. How much does these leads cost? How much these leads cost? How much these leads cost? Depending which ad did they see and how did they react to it. It can make a huge difference depending how much you spend per day, for example, where you want to put more money and which ad you want to favor in order for you to get the cheapest lead as possible. So that's why analytics is very important. And again, CRM is integrated with this, so I can know exactly if some person clicked this ad, ended up in my CRM, I can know, okay, so this person exactly clicked this specific ad and they ended here. And again, advertising platforms, they give you this opportunity basically to understand which creative created the most results, but there's a lot of cookie blockers, ad blockers that people use today already integrated in modern day phones. So that's why you also want to have some additional analytics in place. You also want to use some UTM parameters. I'll not bother with details, I promise that. So there are ways for you to measure exactly which person clicked which ad in order for them to convert and become your customer. So that's the power of the CRM. The next one, payment processors, self-explanatory. If you want to sell anything online, I mean, you need payment processor. Most famous and everybody use it today is Stripe, so you will not make any mistake if you go with Stripe. If you prefer some other, go ahead. I mean, there's a lot of different payment processors out there. I wouldn't suggest PayPal, at least not as the main payment processor for your business. You maybe want to have it in addition, but don't have it as to just have all your transactions going through PayPal. That's not good. I heard some horrific stories about PayPal having people block their accounts and like they never saw that money. So stay away from PayPal as your main payment processor. But if you want to have it in addition to whatever you have already, that's a good thing to have. Social media accounts, I don't need to explain this. If you want to have any traffic, if you want to have more eyeballs on your business, you want to have social media accounts. And if you ask me where to start, I always suggest to start with Facebook and Instagram. They are still the most powerful today in 2025. You have TikTok, you have YouTube, you have LinkedIn. Not necessarily that you can simply copy paste. For example, if you create some video for Instagram, doesn't mean you can use the same video on LinkedIn and vice versa, right? Again, if you have all these assets in place, I always encourage to build all the assets and to build as much as possible when it comes to social media accounts. At the end of the day, it's free to create them, so you can create all of them. Doesn't mean you're going to use all of them at once, but the reason for this is because whatever you do after, when it comes to the traffic and when it comes to your efforts to bring people towards your social media accounts, towards your website, and to get more clients at the end of the day, you are going to amplify those results if you have this infrastructure in place and if you have each of these checked. You don't want to have only one funnel, for example, and nothing else. Could this do the work? It could do the work. It will create some results. But if you put everything in place, it will significantly amplify results that you are getting from efforts that you are already putting into the traffic. So then we are coming to our next topic, which is traffic. So traffic, in simple terms, it's an effort that you put towards bringing people to your social media channels, to your website, and there are various kinds of traffic that you can implement, and I want to simplify it for you again and have just these three here. So number one is organic. I'm sure that you are familiar with this term so far. You heard about people creating some organic traffic through their Instagram channel, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. At the end of the day, what I do right now, creating these videos and leaving the links in my description. For example, if you want to work with me, you can click on that link and book a call, then we can talk. I can also promote my business there. I can promote my other social media channels. That's what you also can do through YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. That's organic. Of course, we call it organic because officially you're not paying to the platform to advertise, but you do have to invest some time and effort. At the end of the day, you may be going to invest some money in editing these videos, creating this content. For some people, it's very easy. They can do it themselves. For some other people, they really need to pay somebody to do it the right way. But at the end of the day, we just call it organic because we don't pay to the platform itself to show our content to whatever people we target on those advertising platforms, right? So that's organic. Digital advertising. When it comes to digital advertising, the most simple way to explain digital advertising is when you put some money to the platform to show your content. And people always ask me where to start. I always suggest to start from Facebook and Instagram, okay? Because these two, they go together. When you create ad here, it can simultaneously go on Instagram and vice versa, of course. So this is still the most, in 2025, this is still the most simple way to get some traction from online advertising. You can drop whatever kind of ad and you will find some results. The better the ad, the better the targeting, the better the advertising setup, you will get better results. But still, I see a lot of potential in running ads. Whenever you start, just start from Facebook and Instagram. That today, this is the most powerful platform to start with. As soon as you establish this revenue stream and things are going good for you, you can think about what would be the next step. And I don't want to go there right now in this video. Everything else, it's literally everything else you can think about. Let's talk about printed media. this is the list that I just created. This list is endless. You cannot imagine how many options you have to get some traffic to your website, but I just want to give you this couple of examples. So number one, let's say print. Whatever you print out there, if it has your website and you want to bring people to your website, or maybe you want to bring people to your Instagram channel, or maybe you want to bring people to your Instagram account, YouTube channel, whatever you advertise there in a printed media, whether it's a billboard, whether it's a flyers, or maybe in a newspaper. The only thing I want to point out here are QR codes, okay? And I will circle back to this one. Just stay with me for a while. Referrals, self-explanatory. If you already have clients, you want them to refer you to their friends and family. Just remind them. Sometimes it's necessary just to send them email reminder. You maybe want to offer some incentive, or in some cases people will gladly do it because they are super happy and satisfied with your product or service. Email marketing, I don't find this is the best option, the best solution. I would never start here, but for some industries maybe it makes sense. If you buy certain email list and you want to send the email to everybody in the industry, if you have that opportunity, I strongly encourage you to think about hiring the copywriter. Like, don't do it yourself. Use the power of copywriting through a copywriter that you're going to hire to write the headline that people will click to open that email, and to write the compelling email somebody wants to read and they want to click on that link and visit your website and take certain action that you want them to take. Again, networking, I just gave a couple of examples. Again, you can have this list is endless. That's why I say everything else. Now let's just go back to give you this simple trick for QR codes. I know that there's still a lot of business owners. That they're kind of, I don't want to say old school, but they are not very digitally oriented, and they still give a lot of trust to the printed media, to whatever is physical they can hold in hand, like visit card, like a business cards or something like that. So think about the QR codes as some supplement to whatever you do in print, okay? Let's say that you have a billboard and you want to have somebody to see your billboard, to see the website and visit your website, okay? Don't just type it there for someone to see there and then try to type themselves. You want to offer them easy solution with the QR code. Everybody are used to it today. If they are not, in a couple of years, everybody will be used to that very much. So QR code is number one you want to use, and you're going to use it in this way. So whenever you put it, wherever you put it, you want to have a section under. Let's say this is the QR code. I don't want to write and it's crazy, you know how it looks like a bunch of dots that doesn't mean anything, but at the end of the day, somehow you put the phone there and boom, you find yourself on some website. So here under, and just make sure that it's kind of all connected together. Here under, you want to tell them where they're going to go. This is, for example, if this is your website, type the website here, okay? Website.com. So they know when they scan this QR code where they're gonna end up. If this is the website, if this is your Instagram channel, just make it very clear, because I noticed sometimes people do it without this part. And when I see it like this, I don't know, like even though the full ad is written here, somebody is calling me to certain action and they want me to do something, I still don't know if I scan this QR code, what's going to happen. So if we have it very clearly here, it's going to be much easier for a person to decide to scan that QR code, because it gives more clarity, right? So I hope this was very useful for you. There's also another thing. Even though you are doing some printed media or printed advertising, you can still have a lot of tracking implemented if you use the QR codes, okay? Because in the QR code, you can put what is called UTM parameters. We are going a little bit in details right now, but I just want to give you a perspective. How can you measure which printed media gave you most traffic? This is how you do it, okay? So let's imagine that we have a website, whatever your website is, okay? Website.com, and after this you can have the question mark, and then you can have what's called UTM parameters, and it goes like UTM source equal billboard, okay? And again, from here you can have even more details. You have this sign called and, I hope it's understanding, and you have again UTM creative equal to whatever it is, and you can connect like this as much information as you want, the CRM will recognize all this information, and when somebody ends up in your CRM, let's say they scan your QR code, they go to your website, and they fill in some form, you will have the information that they visited your website through this source, through this creative, and you can say after a month or 2 months, for example, this printed media gave me the most traffic, so that's why I want to put more money there. Yeah, I like this topic. I think I will make a specific video just about the QR codes. I think they are very powerful to use today, and again, just gave you a simple idea how it can be tracked. So that's enough for you to know right now to make some informed decisions in the future. So if you're already putting some money in printed advertising, remember to use QR codes and to put this tracking parameters inside, so when somebody is visiting your website, you know where they are coming from. I hope this video was helpful, that gave you perspective which steps you need to take and in which order to rebuild or build your online presence and get more traction from online sources for your business. See you in the next video.